Sports on 32 FM 94.9.
All right, a great morning once again to you all, and I say, it is a new day, and welcome to Scoreboard in 15, right here on 32 FM 94.9, broadcasting live from the big brown roof city of Ibadan. You're listening to the voice of 𝐿 SAMIES on the program this lovely morning. Yes, today is Boxing Day. We have games set to go down in the English Premier League, and the one headlining the games set to go down in the English Premier League for today happens to be Newcastle against Aston Villa. That's in the English Premier League. But we expected to see maybe a Chelsea come back, bounce back after their draw against Everton Football Club. That was last weekend. While Alexander Iwobi also has won Chelsea Football Club. Well, definitely not to underestimate Fulham Football Club. Bournemouth, for Iraola, this man has taken charge of Bournemouth this season, and they've gotten magnificent victories over the so-called big boys. The only big team, I'll call them big top six, that has defeated Bournemouth this season is a Chelsea Football Club. You talk about Arsenal, you talk about Manchester City, you also talk about Tottenham Hotspur. All of these sides they've lost to the hands of Bournemouth this Premier League campaign. But for Bournemouth against Crystal Palace, what do you expect at the Vitality Stadium? And then Liverpool against Leicester City. Can Ruud van Nistelrooy, can he stop at the form in which Mohamed Salah, Cody Gakpo, Luis Diaz, Diogo Jota, who is making a return back from injury in the folds of a Liverpool Football Club, can they halt them once again in the English Premier League for this season? Well, outside that, in the Nigeria scene, we have Plateau United. They would be up against the Enyimba Football Club in the Nigeria Premier Football League today also. Remember that this is one of the rescheduled games for Enyimba Football Club, who definitely is Nigeria's only sole participant on the continent, and they are playing in the CAF Confederations Cup this season. Remember, the CAF Confederations Cup, they have just 1 point to themselves this season after that draw, to draw, and to play at home against the defending champions of the CAF Confederations Cup. But outside that, we have interesting updates from the world of basketball, where 5 Christmas Day games went down late last night and also in the early hours of today there in the world of basketball. And I can tell you that Steph Curry and LeBron James for the 5th time in their career, that's in what we talk about Christmas Day, they faced off against each other just in the early hours of today. But that victory definitely was won for that's the GSWs. That's talking about the LA Lakers, I beg your pardon. The GSWs they lost to the hands of the LA Lakers all in the early hours of today. And from all of the games that went down, which was a close contest from all the games that went down in the world of basketball this morning, we had the New York Knicks they defeated the San Antonio Spurs 117 to 114. But in that defeat, one man stood out for the Phoenix Suns, and his name is Victor Wembanyama. For Victor Wembanyama, this man who definitely was the NBA draft pick for last season. He definitely had that solid performance for himself. 42 points he had, and with his performance, Wembanyama became the 3rd player in NBA history after Wilt Chamberlain in the year 1959 and 1961, and Nikola Jokic in the year 2022 to score 40-plus points with a 15-plus rebound in a Christmas game. And his 42 points performance ranks 3rd in the NBA history for a player making his Christmas Day debut behind Chamberlain on 45 points and Tracy McGrady on 43 points. But when we talk about all of these statistics also in the world of basketball, we have the all-time Xmas Day scorers. We have the likes of LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Oscar Robertson, Kobe Bryant, Russell Westbrook. All of these players are in that's a list of players who definitely have had points. They have the highest points when we talk about the world of basketball on Christmas Day. But games are set to continue later today. But before we talk about the games are set to continue continue. The defending champions of the NBA, that's the Boston Celtics, they lost to the hands of the Philadelphia 76ers just in the early hours of today also. In that close game, 114 to 118. And like I said, the Golden State Warriors, they lost to the hands of the LA Lakers, 115 to 113. Well, LeBron James, he had 31 points. Steph Curry had 38 points in that game. And the Phoenix Suns, they defeated the Denver Nuggets, 110 to 100, just in the world of basketball, all in the early hours of today. Well, Luka Doncic definitely could be out for extended period. That's according to the updates coming out from his team. But all right, let's move away from the world of basketball now and talk about the English Premier League games set to go down today. Managers definitely are talking tough. What do you expect from all of these games? Like I said, Arsenal Football Club, they are said to be without Bukayo Saka. For Pep Guardiola, his boys, Manchester City, they stayed late last night on the training pitch just because they want to have a better run of results. Remember that Manchester City in 12 games, they have just one win in their last 12 games. But how can they get better results in their upcoming games? Well, they are set to play against who? For Manchester City, well, they are set to play against Everton Football Club by 1:30 later today. So let's join our partners, the BBC Premier League Update, to take a listen to what they have for us on today's edition of the program Scoreboard in 15, the BBC Premier League Update.
BBC Premier League Update from the home of Premier League football.
Hello, this is Ed Harry at the BBC Sports Centre. It could hardly have gone better for Arne Slot since he took over from Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool. The Dutch manager, in his first season in charge, has guided his side to the top of the newly expanded league stage of the Champions League, and they are 4 points clear at the top of the Premier League as well. On Thursday at Anfield, Slot will welcome fellow Dutch manager Ruud van Nistelrooy, someone he knows well, as Van Nistelrooy brings his Leicester City team to Merseyside.
Ruud is a very nice person, first of all, and I think he did really well when he was at PSV, because PSV for the last 1.5 years they've been on top of the league table. But if you look at the second half of Ruud's season, I think they didn't even lose anymore at all. Good manager, did well at United as well. Looking forward to see him, especially if we win.
Ahead of their visit to fourth place Nottingham Forest on the 26th, Tottenham Hotspur are down in 11th place and they've been leaking goals with key members of their defence out injured. Spurs have lost 3 of the last 4 in the league, conceding 6 at home to Liverpool last time out. So against the backdrop of those injuries, what are manager Ange Postecoglou's plans for the January transfer window?
Yeah, fair to say we're still a little bit short in a couple of areas and we need to reinforce. January's tricky in terms of what sort of players you can bring in, and for any club, I guess you want to bring in people who are going to make you stronger, but I think it makes sense. We will try and reinforce. Where and what number, we'll have to wait and see.
There are 8 fixtures in all on Thursday, with defending champions Manchester City kicking off the day's action at home to Everton at 12:30 GMT. For more football news from the BBC, go to bbc.com/football.
BBC Premier League Update from the home of Premier League football.
Right, there you heard the BBC Premier League updates, but still taking more updates from the English Premier League. Well, Bournemouth's boss Adoni Iraola has urged the side to achieve greater efficiency at both ends of the pitch as they look to maintain their impressive start to the English Premier League season. Well, from all of the 8 games set to go down now, let's take a look at the lineup. Manchester City against Everton, Bournemouth against Crystal Palace, Chelsea against Fulham Football Club. These games are set to go down by 4 p.m. Bournemouth against Crystal Palace, Chelsea against Fulham, Newcastle against Aston Villa. We also have Nottingham Forest against Tottenham Hotspur, Southampton against the West Ham Football Club. And then by 6:30, we would have Wolverhampton Wanderers take on Manchester United. And by 9 p.m., Liverpool will be up against Leicester City, all in the English Premier League. All right, let's move away from that also and discuss about Nigerian sporting stories. We are in the rescheduled game by 4 p.m. Plateau United will be up against the Yimba Football Club. And there are still updates from the Nigeria Premier Football League, where there is one man. When I mention 𝐒𝐒𝐒𝐄𝐑, you know that this man is solely attributed to the Nigeria Premier Football League. And how has he been attributed to the Nigeria Premier Football League? Well, the chairman of the NPFL has opened up on what they have the intention of doing that in the NPFL for next season. The former chairman of Sunshine Stars has said they wanted to attract sponsors into the league, and some adequate measures that must be put in place. So in his words, he said that from the beginning of next season, we are going to do an upward review of players' salaries. Well, we have started with the reduction of 3 points from any erring team and financial punishment to ensure that the visiting team are not intimidated. Since we started reducing points, it is the home team that are now protecting the away teams. Remember that for the Benin Arsenal, Bendel Insurance, they've been docked 3 points in the NPFL for this season. So that's according to the chairman of the NPFL, Gbenga Alegbeleye, urging and stating that the NPFL would get better next season once again. Well, all right, ahead of that big game set to go down this weekend for the Chan Eagles, whom, of course, will be up against the Black Galaxies of Ghana. But there has been talks also where Unduka, the Super Chan Eagles captain, Junior Unduka, he has expressed the team's determination to secure victory in the second leg of their 2024 African Nations Championship qualifier that's against Ghana. Unduka stated that the players are motivated to avenge Nigeria's loss to Ghana in the 2022 World Cup qualifiers. And Nigeria, remember, like I said, will face off against the Black Galaxies at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium. So, the words of Junior Duka, he said that the team definitely has what it takes. But for that's one man, that's a Ghana star, Ibrahim. Well, Hafiz Ibrahim, he has boasted that they will beat Nigeria also in the second leg of the 2024 African Nations Championship qualifier. All right, we'll come on subsequent programs to also discuss about the chances of the home-based Eagles qualification. That's to the Chan tournament, which is said to be hosted by 3 nations. And moving away from that, quickly talking about some tennis stories. Novak Djokovic is confident he can still win Grand Slams, starting at the Australian Open, with the Serbian kickstarting his bid for an unprecedented 11th title and a record 25th major crown there in Brisbane this week. Top ranked Arina Sabalenka, who is gunning for a third Melbourne Park Trophy, joins him at the Queensland Tennis Centre from December 29th to January 5. That's in the stellar women's field. Well, but the 2025 season gets underway. That's on Friday, tomorrow, with the mixed teams United Cup in Perth and Sydney, headlined by world number 2 Iga Swiatek in her first tournament. This is revelations that she has served a 1-month doping suspension. So we know that the world of tennis definitely can get interesting. That's later in the year 2025, same as Formula One. But football events keep serving us till the end of the year. But all right, this is how far we can go on today's edition of the program. Till we meet again tomorrow, that's a Scoreboard in 15. I am SAMIES, your sports captain, and I say do enjoy the rest of the day, and bye for now.